Welcome to the Zizzy Show! And we didn't mess up this week and say the Izzy Show.
Yeah.
Because there's another Z involved in the show, and it's not just Izzy. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, I think I'm pretty cool. Would you all disagree?
I would. It's supposed to be...
It's always the haters are gonna hate.
It's don't you guys agree, not don't you guys disagree.
Don't you? Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? English was never my first language.
Well, what was?
It's gibberish.
Oh, yeah. He does say he's from Kentucky, so. Guys, we are back with our regular mojo. We did our coming out stories for the last couple of weeks, and now we are transitioning into more of like a podcast feel. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to do more like talk back and forth over a subject instead of like a game, because I feel like we have a lot of things to say, and on our other social media we don't like really talk. You know, it's more like skits, or we're doing like sound syncs and lip syncs and stuff like that. So,
and let me tell you, Mama always got something to say.
He always has too much to say.
The right amount to say.
You know, this last couple of weeks we kind of been really busy and kind of like analyzing where we both are and like where our relationship first started, because we're coming up on our year anniversary. And like it's funny because we'll look back on when we first met each other and we weren't living with each other, and we acted very different because we weren't with each other all day long.
Yes.
So it's like there was more touching,
there
more
was
cuddle.
More feeling.
I was like nicer.
Girl, literally.
No, it's a little bitch.
Little bitch?
I'm a little bitch.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm a little bitch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the amount of like cuddles he would give me, he would be making sure he texts me every day. Now, girl, he wakes up and looks at me and says, "Sup, bitch?"
So things have changed a little bit.
Clearly.
So what we want to talk about this week is, I guess if you're going to put a title on it, should you or should you not move in with your new boyfriend or girlfriend within the first 3 months of meeting each other?
Boom. 3 months.
I already feel like as there's like a stigma around like gay couples
moving in so quickly. I mean,
obviously it's more like towards like lesbian couples.
The cliche of it all. Yes.
But girl, I guess I'm lesbian because my relationship is in and out, girl.
I know, literally call me lesbian because literally we moved in so quickly. The irony of it all is like initially when we first started dating, we were like, okay, like we know you're moving, I want to move too, so we could kind of like, we already were like, okay, that's a plus. That's for plus for both of us.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it was like, when we started planning like that next step with each other, it was like, okay, we're not gonna move in for 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. And then the next step was like, what, 3 or 4?
Girl, it just kept going down. We're like, okay, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna get settled, I'm gonna be working hard, I'll make some new friends. You get your stuff situated in Arizona, you'll come over when like all those things are set, right? And it started with, I'm moving in September, you can come in February, right?
Yup.
And then it turned into like, well, maybe come in January. Like, oh, well, what about December?
What about December?
It ended up being next week.
It literally was the next week.
Yeah.
Like what happened was I worked a full like 10 days of 2 jobs, and I was exhausted.
You said, I ain't doing this shit.
And I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this shit anymore. No. And Z pretty much was like, you know, we're making a good wage on other platforms. Like, why not? You just come a little earlier. And the thing was, as much as it was like a lot my idea, it was also his idea too. He was like, I love you so much.
We were making buku money on OnlyFans. Like, let's be honest, we were making like 12 grand a month on OnlyFans at that point.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, bitch, you don't need to work, get over here, you know?
Exactly.
So there obviously are pros and cons to moving in with your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner quicker, and there's pros and cons with
later.
Later, right?
I would say I would like to touch upon the con immediately is that, you know, like thinking now, like we were just in February, like not too long ago. Well, clearly not too long ago, but to think that like I would have waited that long to have been living with you.
a lot of life happened
in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like from the time we started dating to then.
True.
Like so much, like we literally went to like traveled so many states together.
We
and
did like 22 states together.
Yeah, so it's like the fact that like to think that I would have just probably gotten here is a matter of like that blows my mind.
That is true. That is true. So one of the pros, which I feel like is the most obvious pro, is like the financial benefit of moving in with somebody, right? So my last my relationship with you and my past relationship, like that was the main pro, you know? Like we moved in with each other we met in June 15th, and then we dated for 3 months in Arizona, and I moved September 1st. Yeah. And you end up being back here like September 15th.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So that's definitely the pro. Like I was gonna have to pay all the rent on my own. I mean, I think you were gonna contribute.
No, I was gonna. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I did like contributed.
But like, he had his own rent in Arizona. So like that's the main pro. But I can definitely think of cons of moving in too quickly. Okay. My first main con is that many times you lose a sense of individuality. Yeah.
I know you've said that many times.
Especially if you move to a place where you don't have roots already. True. Because, we moved from Arizona to Iowa and we had one friend here. True. So now that we're like both together, we work from home, it's like it's harder to make your own friends, have your own community, and then combine those because we do everything together. And I feel like we kind of get on each other's nerves sometimes because of that. To be fair, we've communicated really well in terms of like avoiding that. Yes. But that is definitely like...
It's still like non-avoidable. Yeah. Like you still come into those instances where it's like, I need just to not see you for a second. Yeah. But like, I think that's like what's different about us and other people is that we work from home.
True. Very true.
We work from home. We also don't have too many friends here. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we've tried like making our friends here, but sometimes people are just weird. Like, they're not like, and also just people aren't nice. But like, that's a different stuff. Like, for a different story. But anyways, it's like not only like we have tried that. It's just like we only have each other. And I have no family. Like, okay, I have like minimal people in the Midwest and like with a handful of people in Kentucky. But it's like. The difference I would say like for other people is like they would probably get jobs, have that space, come home, but still probably have nobody. Yeah. But we work from home. True. So I feel like that's where that's where that collides a little bit.
The other like con that also goes with the first pro of finances is that if you don't communicate finances with your boyfriend or girlfriend when you join a household, it can get really messy
very quickly.
Yeah. Like if one makes more than the other, are you expecting you each to pay half and half?
Like the same amount?
Yes. Or are you expecting the one to make more to pay a higher percentage because they do make more? You know what I'm saying? And if you don't communicate that could finances alone can destroy a relationship.
Yes.
Like forget all the other stuff. If y'all can't figure out your finances,
you're done.
You're done.
Like that, I feel like that's like a number one like relationship killer.
Absolutely.
It's like when people get into that.
I'm sure there's some sort of survey or something that's telling exactly what we're saying.
Exactly.
I'm gonna look it up on Google.
I have to.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like a good percentage that like a lot of like a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships in general that like because of finances they get into that rut, they start fighting more, they start getting aggravated more, and it's just like. Instead of just getting aggravated, like talk it out, communicate, and also just dig deep.
And that's the thing, you have to communicate because you both can make shit money and struggle and still have a healthy relationship. Yes. It all has to do with are you communicating?
Yes. Communication is a lot. I feel like I don't want to seem like sound cliche or repetitive or redundant in like in terms of everything. But like I feel like communication is key in like in a lot of those instances.
Oh, absolutely. You can't communicate, everything is like goes to shit. And also we are not claiming to be professional professional couple like advice
givers. No,
this is not us.
This is just from experience.
We are just talking out our assholes right now. Like we just talking like what like I was like, what should we talk about on our podcast? or our YouTube video. And I was like, oh, that would be a fun topic to talk about you moving and stuff. We didn't even talk about like what we're gonna say and converse prior to sitting down.
I kind of gaslighted the situation a little bit, and I was like, you probably think that we moved in a little bit too early. Huh?
I absolutely
And he
do
was
think
like,
we
yup.
moved in too early.
Okay, so part of me thinks yes and part of me thinks no. See, like
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it.
No, I wouldn't change it now. Knowing now what I know is like I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I think we did? Yes, but I think that like we loved each other so much, and we loved each other so much, and like we felt that connection very quickly. And to be honest, I have a struggle with like telling people I love them and feeling that connection. So when I found someone that like I felt that for, girl, I was head over heels. I was head over anything.
Also, let's take it back and do the situation as if we weren't moving out of the state, right?
Yes.
Let's just say we were in the same state, the same city, and we were dating, right? We wanted to see each other every day. We were hanging out every week, you know. I also feel like there's a realistic aspect of, okay, if we were wanting to spend time with each other all the time, I understand wanting to move in with each other.
Yeah.
Because then, oh, well, you're with each other all the time.
But I feel like there's an aspect of like, if you live like me, let's say like we both lived in like Iowa or like in Arizona at the same time, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We lived in the same state at the same time and we weren't moving.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, I feel like there'd be a lot of differences. Like we probably could have like went 6 months without moving in together.
Absolutely.
Like,
it would have been way easier.
Yes, like I probably would have came over, you would have probably came over, like vice versa eventually.
Absolutely.
And like stayed with each other that way, and like we would have gotten that fill. And eventually, of course, like that would have had to come like a come together, like a come to Jesus meeting of like, hey, like I want to move in, like what are we thoughts?
Yeah.
Versus like you're moving across the country.
Yeah. I'm
not like good to hop a skip and a drive away. I'm literally a plane. It's like everything I'm investing in like plane flights, I can just be investing in the rent here and just living with you.
Yeah, and I understand how our situation ended up working out. Like I wouldn't change it because I mean the joys of living together and all the experience like are not matched.
Yeah.
But had we not been moving to a different state and we were both comfortably able to like afford where we were living, even if we couldn't necessarily afford where we were living, because we were a new relationship,
I probably would have waited longer.
I would have still waited just because like, okay, well, if he right now prior to meeting me and now meeting me is not able to take care of yourself like financially, is that something I want to commit myself to?
Yes.
You know? And you had already had like, you know, you had your car. I mean, I used to joke when I was single, I had 5 shuns. You need to have an education, you need to have transportation, you need to have an occupation, you need to have socialization, and you needed to have, what was my 5th one? Wait, occupation, education, transportation, socialization, and
looks.
I don't know.
I remember you told me that on our first date
There
too.
was one more.
I remember he told me on our first date
There was
too. To being like, he was like, you meet all 5 of my requirements, and my head was like, 5 requirements.
Okay, but hear me out, right?
What?
Like, hear me out. I wanted to date somebody that already had a car, you know, because then, I mean, I feel like that's just like, it is.
I feel like that's very self-explanatory.
Yeah. Have a car. You need to have a job. You need to be able to provide for yourself, especially, I mean, you're a grown-ass adult. You needed to have your own friends. That one was huge. You needed to be able to hang out without me, be completely okay, have friends that give you good advice, blah, 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 and not have to cling on to my circle of socialization, okay? And then you had to have, did I say occupation yet? Oh, habitation. Habitation is the 5th one. You had to have your own place to live. I don't care if you're sharing an apartment with somebody, but like, if you can meet all 5 of those, I feel like those are like pretty basic, like, you know, stepping stones as an adult. Once you have all 5 of those, you feel like you're floating. You know, you're doing okay. Like, those are my 5 requirements in terms of who I wanted to date.
Yes.
And if you had those 5, then you had a chance to go on to the next level, like in my mind. you know?
The next level.
And you had all 5 of those,
yes.
you know? So, because you had all 5 of those, had we still been in the same city, I would not have been like, oh my gosh, I need you to move in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I like, to be honest, like, I don't think I would have moved in either.
Yeah.
Like, in terms, like, I'm comfortable, like, I'm doing what I need to do, like, I want to pay off, like, some things, I want to pay off some, like, I don't want, like, you to take on my credit, like, burdens.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, at that point, it's like, you knew that I have student loans, you knew that, like, you knew what you were getting yourself into, and you were like, you know what, like, that is what it is, like, I love you. And
see, those things were an issue, even though, like, I knew you had student loans and stuff, and you had your car payment, those things weren't an issue, because once I got to know you, I knew you had, like, a drive for life, you know, and you weren't just going to pass it on to the next person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw that the kind of person you were was hardworking, you knew what you wanted to do, and you were already driven. So...
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, you like hearing good stuff about yourself.
Okay.
You don't hear this all the time. You don't hear this all the time.
I was like, okay. Speak more.
So, in my opinion, like, I feel like this is such a cop-out answer on whether you should move in or not move in with your new boyfriend or girlfriend. But it completely depends on the maturity and the communication of both people. Because you could or could not, and it could be an amazing relationship. But if I had to look like every relationship, I would err on the side of do not move in within the first 3 months. Just because it does bring a lot of stress, because you're still learning about the person that you're just getting with, you know?
Yeah.
Like, after 3 months, yeah, I knew you. We hung out a lot, you know? But, like, I didn't actually, like, know the insides and outs, the traumas, the triggers, all those kind of things. I didn't know how you reacted under pressure. I didn't know how you reacted when there was high anxiety. Like, I didn't know any of that kind of stuff. I didn't know how it was if family issues occurred. Like, those things I didn't know. You know, and some things you only learn when you're actually living together.
Well, in the situation and living together.
Yeah, but I feel like over time, you get to, you know, more situations happen. You get to learn about each other. But within 3 months, I feel like that's really hard to gauge. I'm not saying it's not possible, because obviously we did it, but like, I think I would err on the side of like, do not move in within the first 3 months, even though I've done it 2 times now. And this one was a longer time. Last relationship happened within 40 days.
Shit.
Which, yeah,
I mean, no shame, but like, oh shit.
Yeah. My ex and I, we started talking the 1st of October, and he moved in Thanksgiving in November.
What a potluck.
I didn't meet him until the 30th of October. So between meeting him for the first time and him moving in was 3.5 weeks. Not even.
Yeah. Wow, damn.
It's fast. Yeah. Give me my Leslie card right now.
Hey, girl.
Give me a L.
Girl, literally, I struggle. Literally, any person that would be like, show interest in me, I'd be like, they'd be like, I love you. And I'm like, no. No.
Move along.
Move along. And then my friends started like saying like I had this 3-month dump thing. I was like, what does that mean? She started like keeping track in her phone. It was so disrespectful. She's like underlyingly kept it in her phone. She was like, I call it your 3-month dump. I'm like, what's that? She was like, anytime like you go on these dates and like someone was like tells you I love you, or like they show feelings a little bit quicker than normal people, which I don't disrespect people and I don't discredit others, but not for me. So when they did, I would always be like, why?
Ouch.
And I couldn't do it. But it was really weird because when you said I love you, I like almost said it. I said it back immediately.
It's the charm for me.
Oh my gosh.
The charm.
Hideous.
Okay, now for you.
Okay.
Would you? So what are your thoughts?
Okay.
Move in within 3 months or don't move in within 3 months?
You see, like, I can agree with you. Like, it is a kind of a cop-out answer. It's like, it's the maturity, the, like, kind of basing off of, like, what you go through in that 3 months. Like, do you guys fight a lot? Do you guys not fight?
That is true.
I think that, like, in that 3-month period, you should go through at least, like, not, like, on purpose, of course.
Yeah.
But, like, go through a fight. See how, like, each other reacts.
Yeah.
How you guys make up. How that process goes. Like, not only like, talk about finances, what you guys are encountering in, like, personal lives. Like, what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes, like, a lot of people may have, like, an unhealthy family life.
Okay, now you do. You didn't always. I mean, like, as our relationship was going, it was still, like, it was manageable.
Fair.
You know?
Fair. I give you that. But, like, had an unhealthy, like, family relationship, like, that kind of, like, domino effects onto the person.
Absolutely.
And then I feel like there's, like, so many other effects, like, that can come into it. I kind of err onto the no side, but I kind of also, like, I'm more onto the yes side. I know that sounds very counterintuitive, but it's like I'm more on the yes side because it's like I think the earlier you go through that, the faster that you can understand, like, you guys aren't for each other, or like, hey, we're both mature, like, we can move forward.
See, my, like, logistical mind's like, okay, 3 months, you move in, and you guys are in a 12-month lease. What after 2 months, like, y'all are not getting along? So now you're stuck for 7 months together? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, mama, I'm ready to fucking square up, bitch.
Right. So it's like, so how I feel is like, if I met you and you already had a place to stay and you were like, you already met my 5 shuns of a relationship, then there's really no need for you to move in. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
The only real struggle we had in the beginning is that he had roommates and I had roommates, so there was no place to fuck. There was nowhere to go. So we had to hop in the car, put some blankets in the back of the car, and drive up and watch the stars.
Girl, I watched those stars for about, like,
there were stars, all right.
There were stars.
I don't know what kind of stars. There were stars.
I saw my toes.
Girl, that was the
hardest part. It'd always be like, and then the one time we went through, like, I'm not going to name the coffee shop.
We are not going into detail.
No, we are. We're going into detail now. I'm going to name one. This one time, he was filling me up, girl, and I was like, okay. And then we stopped, like, right next to one of the coffee shops that I used to work at.
You are not telling this story on fucking YouTube, bro.
Why not? Okay, fine, whatever. But in the end, we literally messed around.
This guy?
We messed around between 2 Amazon trucks.
Do you believe this guy?
You're so handsome.
What is happening here?
You're so sexy.
Okay, but the pro of that is because we didn't actually have a place. Our first, I think, was it 4, 5, 6 dates. Like there was no
very romantic and emotional.
It was just emotional because we had no opportunity to be physical. Because honestly, if it was the first date and we had a place, we don't say
girl, that first day, ooh wee.
But like that definitely benefited us because before we ever touched each other, we were like, okay, I kind of know who you are, you know.
Well, to be fair, on our first date, like, we sat outside.
We talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah, we talked
outside of Smashburger.
Yeah, you even cried on the first date too.
Girl, I don't cry. How many times have I cried in our relationship?
I think I can count like 4.
Yeah, I don't cry.
Like, I know once on your birthday, like when I showed you that video, and then like I know like one other time, and then that day, and then there was one other thing that I think I did a really nice thing for you, and you cried.
Probably not, but you know, whatever. We'll let them think that.
I know 4 times for a fact. I can name at least 3, but that 4th one, I'm like, I have to dig a little deeper. But I know you cried. Me, I think you can definitely count on both hands.
Bro, he probably cries 5 times a week. Fuck. We pass by a Starbucks and don't actually stop. Starbucks, Beba, you have so many stars. Starbucks.
I feel so hurt, and you know
I brought him back a Starbucks today.
It was really
to the
sweet.
Post office.
I cleaned up our rabbit shit.
He didn't even give me a fucking hug or kiss for it either.
Yes, I did.
I had to hug you from behind.
And I didn't know I would clean up rabbit shit. I wasn't gonna hug him. Honestly, at that point, I probably should have like been like, "You're so sexy."
Also, the rabbit is in the kitchen because we were in the rabbit room, and at least it smells good today. Girl. This little shit poops so much in the fucking corner. Like, you had to pick the smallest corner to shit in. There is so much space in this rabbit hutch. You had to pick the little corner.
In the fucking right next to the bridge.
2 days, it starts piling up.
Like, girl shit's more than you.
I barely shit, let's be honest.
No, but when you shit, it's a little child.
Okay, we're off topic. And we're done with the topic. So, the synopsis? How do you say it?
Synopsis.
In the end, it depends on your relationship and your maturity.
Yes.
And your communication. But I would say you better not move in within the first 3 months like we did. That's what I would say.
But we're fine. We're good now, girl.
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we good. Hey, turn that off.
But guys, thanks for tuning in to the Zizzy Show.
Thank you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to make sure you get any notifications that I'm on and live.
Yeah, honestly, guys, subscribe and like. But the main thing is hit the bell button. The bell icon.
Hit the bell icon.
So you know when we posted a new video.
Me. I posted the video.
Also, we are now selling our 90 fun days to do as a couple. We're selling jars. You can find them on our Etsy. They're super cute.
They're super cute.
They take us a long time to make too.
Yeah. I would say if your relationship is definitely, need a little spark or something, there are so many fun days.
You can literally see the glitter underneath his nose right here. Like, honestly. We put some work into these
Girl,
shows.
I ate a pixie's ass. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.